The sport of bodybuilding, at its core, is an art. It's a different art. It's not about painting, it's not about creating a sculpture. It's about tearing your body down to build it back up into perfection.
Can someone win the Olympia on their own? Absolutely not.
Hany Rambod is one of the best prep coaches in the industry. He's coached 19 Mr. Olympia titles.
You would always remind me that it takes a lot of mental capacity and even more emotional strength than anyone can ever imagine.
You know, there's so much discipline that goes on in the sport. You have to be accountable from the time you wake up to the time you fall asleep. Whereas other sports, you can go practice for 3 or 4 hours and then forget about the rest of the day. That's not bodybuilding.
You have to understand how food works.
You have to have enough protein, carbohydrates, and fats balanced in a particular ratio so you get that dry, ripped look that you see on the cover of all the magazines when you're standing in line at the supermarket.
I train as if I am going to be putting on 10 pounds of muscle every single year. And every single year, I have to try and find that 10 pounds of muscle to diet back off.
You over-diet or don't diet enough, that's the difference between 2nd and 6th place.
A lot of competitors will experience a very low energy, mental fogginess, or just weakness in general. It all depends on how you deplete.
The depletion phase. Step 1, we are depleting of carbohydrates, we're doing cardio, we're still doing workouts. Sometimes we'll go in there twice a day to train to really deplete the muscle of all possible glycogen.
Well, everybody has different ways of what they call depleting. Some it's easier than others, but it's still very mental at this point.
When you reach that depleted level, you honestly feel like a walking zombie.
The physical part is the easy part. It's the psychological part in your own head when you're home at 10 p.m. and the boogeyman starts tapping you on the shoulder when you go walk to the fridge.
Your body does not want to be ripped to shreds, low body fat, and very dehydrated. It thinks it's dying. So your body fights you.
You're hungry all the time. Even if you just finished one of your meals, you're still hungry right after that.
I'm quite the opposite from everyone else. I'm not a huge eater. If I skip one meal, then it's like I'm losing 5 pounds.
It's tough. It gets really, really difficult. And that's when your mentality, your mindset really has to take over.
It's such a mental game that you start second guessing what you're doing because everything we do doesn't necessarily unfold before our eyes.
But what that entails is someone who can trust the coach getting them through the fog of war.
And that's the moment that you decide that this is my opportunity to be the greatest. Because normally, people give up.
And then that last week is crucial. Peaking is the key. You don't want to diet down too fast, but you also don't want to diet down too slow.
Whoever has the most experience and has the best understanding of their body is really going to be able to come out on top to time that peak correctly. When we say peak, it's coming in as hard, as crisp, and as dense as possible.
To peak is very difficult.
You want to land your peak on the stage. A lot of people peak the day after the show. So what happens is after the show, that's when you go eat all the food. And then it hits you, and then you look your best the day after.
Some guys never control it, and they never reach their peak, and some guys do master it.
I've learned how to do that. I've mastered that. That's why I'm able to be in the game longer than anybody.
That's actually the very exciting part that separates the men from the mice.
Your motivation and your mindset are everything.
You know, people look at us as bodybuilders and they just see the physical aspect, the muscles, the working out, all the effort. But believe me when I tell you, this is a mental sport.
It's 24 hours, 7 days a week. And if you're weak-minded, you will lose.
The people who are at the top of the sport are champions. They are mental masters. They are as disciplined as anyone. They have learned an art that is so hard to do.
I'll be bringing physical strength, mental, and emotional strength that you've never seen before. I can't lose.